Good morning, everyone. Oh, sweet friends, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. 2020. Are you guys ready? So, this is exactly how I stumbled into 2020. For as excited and as energized and as ready and prepared as I was, I got myself sick. I'm gonna open with prayer, give you guys a chance to join me and find me. Hopefully, we have some people joining. If not, then I'll have fun chatting with myself as you guys enjoy the replay. Lord, thank you for another amazing year. Thank you for all of your love and support, your guidance, your immense power to forgive and clear the slate, that we start each day brand new, ready to be our best version. May you continue to open our hearts and open our minds to a brand new decade full of wonder and possibility. And may we have the courage to step into our potential, the gifts that you've bestowed upon each and every single one of us before we knew what we were capable of. Amen. So I learned a really awesome concept this sometime between Christmas and New Year, and it was like been a gift and a game changer already. And this is how I'm going to set up for this decade to show up to be my best version. And it made so much sense when I learned it, and I'm here to share it with you guys. Oh, by the way, emails are back. So if you are not a part of my email list, go ahead and click the link below so that you get, I send out emails once a week. It's not a spam. It's, I've done it in a way where I've just shared, in the past I've shared like my videos and anything new that's going on that I'm doing, and any tips that I know and all that stuff. But I'm changing my email list a lot differently now, where I am now going to be more, and don't take this the wrong way, it's like more personal and more authentic to myself and my voice. And so, and not as polished as I used to put pressure myself to be when I send out these emails. Y'all know that I'm writing a book this year, so I'm going to be in a headspace where I just like dump out everything that I got going on up here, all the things that I've learned and all the things I'm trying to do. And so, and what I think would help people. So a lot of topics are scary because they're scary when I face them, they're scary for me to face them. So I can only imagine what I'll be feeling trying to revisit them or process through them again. And I think I'm going to use the email platform in that same way, where I just share my heart and my mind, and it's just going to be a little more personal style of it. So if you like that stuff, if you want to know what's going on, if you want to hear the latest, and most likely if you're watching these videos and following this channel, it's most likely that. So I will be emailing again, and I just sent out the first one last week with New Year's and just announcing of my New Year intention for the year. And so, so be sure to click the link below and sign up. And that's where I will actually be sharing. I'll be sharing a lot more intimate details of than you would see on YouTube or on my other social media platforms. The emails is definitely a more personal one. And if I'm not your speed, and if it's not the kind of stuff you want to be getting emails of, you can always unsubscribe. It won't hurt my feelings, because most emails, like everything else, you'll figure out. It's just what doesn't serve you, get rid of. I'm a big advocate of that. What doesn't serve you, get rid of it, and only take in what serves you. Only take in what you can benefit from. Only take in what can bring light and love into your world, because there's so much of the other stuff that you don't need it. And choice is always yours. So the concept that I learned this week is, did you know that we have 3 brains? Not one. No, there's 3 parts to our brain. And this thing is just, the more and more I'm learning about the power of our brain and our mind, is just, it's absolutely fascinating. I've always known that if you think you can, you can. And if you think you can't, you're right. So that power comes from our brain. That power, thought, that what we think of and the things that we say manifest outward into our actions, into our physical stuff. So learning this concept of that there are 3 parts to our brain, it absolutely fascinates me, and it makes so much sense as to why I am the crazy kid that I am and why I struggle the way I struggle. And so there are 3 parts. The first part is the robot. And the robot part of our brain is what the things that we do habitually. They're the things that are ingrained in us. They're the things that we don't have to think about. When we drive, when we brush our teeth, when we eat, when we're hungry, our stomach digests when there's food in it. Like, these are the things. This is how our body functions. There's 3 responsibilities, and the brain knows all that. And that's the robotic part of our brain. It knows all the things that it needs to do when we're sick. It fights through the stuff. This is the robotic part of our brain, and it is the strongest part of our brain. So like, when it goes into the robotic part, it just does. Our body just takes over, and it does. Our mind just takes over, and it does. That's what makes it a robot. It doesn't think, and its primary goal for the robotic brain is to survive. It wants us to survive, so it will do anything to keep us alive, and that's what makes it so strong, right? When we're hungry and when our body needs food, our brain says, we got to eat. We got to find somewhere to eat. You know what I mean? And then it does everything in its power to get us some food, right? And we don't have to think about it, because the robot, when it's robotic, it's just automatic. And then there's the other part of our brain, which is with us 24/7. And it is the monkey part of our brain. It is the one that guides our emotions. The monkey part of the brain is the one that says, squirrel, shiny new object there. You know what I mean? What makes it fun? Yay. Like the monkey part of our brain is all about the excitement, the thrill, the new, the jealousy, the sad, all the emotions, like every emotional thing. Like, the monkey guides that part of our brain. When we have a strong feeling of something, the monkey like takes over, and he's like, do this and do that, and we want, Netflix. What's new show? Who's emailing me? Oh, how many likes do I have? That's all the monkey. That's all the monkey part of our brain. And then the last part is the sage brain. Sage, S-A-G-E. These descriptions are not like they don't mean, these descriptions are not like the technical terms. These are the three parts of our brain: is the habitual part, the robot part, the monkey is the emotional, and the sage brain part of our brain is the part that separates us, like human beings, from animals. They are the parts that want more. But they're the ones that desire to improve. They're the ones that want um, to be better. That there's that's the wisdom part of our brain. But unfortunately, it is the weakest part of our brain. It is the most silent. It is the weakest. It has no power. It's not as strong as the robot part of our brain. This is why we have every good intention to lose weight, to stop drinking, to stop drugs, to stop all of our bad habits, to stop gambling, all of the addictions that we have, like the dangerous addictions, the ones that are really, really powerful, and they hurt us, and we know it's wrong, but we can't stop it, even though our stage part of our brain says there's more, you can be better, we need to end this. But our physical part, the robot part, the habitual part says, nope, I'm doing it, it's being done, because this is what we want to do, you know and yeah, so that's why the sage part of our brain is the weakest. And I was like, that makes so much sense. But the part that's with us 24/7 is the monkey part of our brain, which is our feelings, and what makes us feel good. And remember, the robot part is the survival. So to survive, and it wants to protect us. So basically, it doesn't, neither one of them like discomfort. The monkey doesn't like discomfort, and the robot part doesn't like discomfort. And the robot doesn't like change. The robot is a habitual. He doesn't like change. So that part of our brain will always stop us from changing. And then, and once I learned this, I'm like, that makes so much sense. I was like, no matter how hard I try to be better, like it's always tough to improve. So here's the so the game plan. Now that we know these three brains exist, these three parts of our brain, this is how it works. This is the fighting thing. This is why we're so exhausted at the end of the night. Why we were so depleted, because our brain is going through this 24/7. This battle is 24/7. Unless you quiet the sage brain altogether. And this is where people don't have ambition. This is where people don't have the drive. They just kind of do. They just kind of get up and do, and whether it makes them happy or not, they just do. And they continue to stay distracted. They continue, like, so when you guided by the monkey and the robot, and the sage doesn't even exist. It's so dormant. You can see them running. And ever since I awoken, is that even a word? Ever since I woke up my sage part of my brain, and I told you that was when I got married, and I started watching like these podcasts. Remember, I got exposed to like these women that were like doing amazing work, doing creative work, doing the things that they love on the side, and making money off of it, and profiting, and while they still had a family, while they had children, like while they had households to manage, and I was just like, wow. I was like, it is all possible. And then that's the sage part of my brain started awakening. And then you start to cultivate it. And that's why you're like, you learn things, and you see things, you expose yourself to good, because the world caters to the monkey part of our brain. They like these social media apps, like this phone, the cell phone, the smartphone, the super smartphone, that like, back in the day, this phone, when we landed on the moon, we were using a computer system that is like, this is like a billion times bigger computer system than the one that took us to the moon, than the satellite system that took us to the moon. Like, just so you know what possibility this thing is. And our brain does not function at this speed. And we're still working with the same 3 brain processing board while trying to catch this and chase this. And this is why this is like the major addiction of all addictions. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I got rid of my phone addiction. I'm so grateful that I made that decision and just cut that off, because it wasn't easy, and it took a lot to get to that decision. But when it did, and it worked, and I have no regrets. No regrets. And I will not cater to that monkey part of my brain again, where I allow that part to come back to me, that part take over. So the game plan, so now that we know this, the game plan for 2020 and this new decade, and using this knowledge and to make it powerful, is, now that we know, so the successful people know that the front part of their brain, like the most powerful, is the robotic brain. So what the successful people do is they front load their good habits and turn it into a robot. Because when you give it to the robot part of your brain, it just does. This is why athletes just train. This is why athletic people just get up and work out, and they just run. Runners just get up and run, no matter how hard it is. They're not in the mood to put on their shoes and get out in the cold and run out there. No, their body just does it because they just do it, because they put it in they made it robotic. They turned it into a good habit, and they let the robot part of the brain work. You do it. So, so the game plan is to front load your good habits, and turn it into the robotic part, and make it into a habit so you don't have to think about it anymore. And then rein in the monkey part of your brain that gets distracted, and that part is strong, because when you're bored, what do you want to do? You always want to change your state. When you're stressed, you want to change your state. You do things that you wouldn't normally want to do. So I have every intention to lose weight and not taking junk food. I want to eat healthy so that my body is strong and I show up. And then I'm having more pressure because I want to have a wedding to go to. So I want to be in the best shape for this wedding. I want to look good. I want to feel good. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be unhealthy. It's a beautiful day. It's an important day, and it's a stressful day. You know what I mean? So I want to make my body as strong as possible so that I show up for my friend in the best way that I can, right? So what does that mean? That means that I want to work out. I want to eat well. I want to, and I want to keep my body loose and limber, and so I can, and I want to feel good in whatever the dress I would like. These are the parts of the sage brain says, right? This is the part that I want better. And then I go to work, and then there's cookies, and then there's donuts, and then there's coffee and creamers and sugar and all kinds of stuff that I know are not good for my body, that I react very bad to. And so, but the monkey part says, oh, it's yummy, it's free, it's here, it's all yours, take it all in. And the robot part says, you've eaten this before, this makes you feel good, go ahead and eat it. When you see it, you eat it. That's the robot. You've done it your whole life, keep doing it. You're still alive. That's the robot part. So the robot part is fighting for me to take in the donut, because it's the only thing I've ever done is when I see a donut, I eat it. Right? And then the monkey part says it's yummy, it makes you feel good, it's all sweet, it's warm and gooey. That's the monkey part. And plus you're bored and you're here at work, you got nothing else to do. You don't want to be here. At least make this part the fun part for us. At least make this part the entertaining part for us. This is the fight that goes on And so, and this is just one tiny aspect of my day, like this one tiny aspect. And I know that as I'm saying this, I know you guys can find like the how this is running in your life too. I know you guys can see the how this can relate to what you go through, because it might your thing might not be, food. It might not have anything to do with food. You guys might be so robotically inclined to eating well, and so you don't understand what this fight looks like that I'm going through. But this is unfortunately my world. And so, yeah, so the sage part says, I woke up this morning, I wrote in my journal, I have every intention of all the plans and the goals that I want, and what I want to look forward to, and what I want to prepare myself to do. And then I go and there's that donut. And then the robot says, eat it, you survive. We need calories. We need to take in calories. And you've lived a good life since with it. That's the robot. We see it, we eat it. The monkey says, sweet, you know, all that stuff. And then the sage says, but this isn't going to get you to where you want your goal to be. This isn't going to get you to the version that you were hoping to be. This isn't going to get you to the outcome that you set yourself to be, right? And then, but then the monkey says, who cares? And then the robot says, don't listen to that sage brain. Don't listen to her. Do you do you know what I mean? Like, and then so the game plan is you can't. So the game plan is to try to take in all the good. So that's why I've been changing my habits. So now I'm trying to change my habits like the last 90 days to that I don't eat vending machine food. I don't eat processed food. I don't eat, you know what I mean? So I took all my energy and I spent it out each month. Like, I don't eat this, I don't eat that. And I change my habits so that when food like that comes up at work, my automatic response is I don't eat that stuff at work. I'm not buying it at home, so I'm not going to consume it at work. So I had to change my habit to that. And it was hard. It was so hard. It's still hard. It's still a struggle. Believe me, the voice still calls because I'm 41 years old. I've been doing this my whole life. I have grace with myself to know that even though I've been saying no for 90 days, it's still not as strong as saying yes for 41 years. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, until it gets that strong, I have to keep fighting it and saying, "You're going to say no. You're going to say no." So as I front load my good habits to turn it into robotic, I have to rein in the monkey that's causing the distraction, which is one of the things was me killing the games. Is once I got rid of the phone games in there, I got rid of a huge addiction that I had, which subsided the addiction of this phone. And I used to have a social media addiction, but I replaced it with the phone game addiction. So now I just have to make sure that I don't fall back into the social media addiction or the app addictions or any other thing that this thing can distract me from. Right now, honestly, I'm battling with a new addiction that I'm checking my emails because now I don't have a game to play. And now I'm not really into the social media world, so it doesn't really entertain me. But I'm starting to realize that I get really good emails because emails are where my education is coming from. I get like good tips and good ideas are coming from these emails. So now I'm finding myself wanting to check out my email and see, did I get anything new in my email to that I can learn, that I can grow from? What good idea can I get from these emails? That's where I feel like my new addiction is starting to happen. And it just hit me yesterday when I was listening to Darren Hardy. He's talking about, when we check our phones for the emails, it's like the little old lady going out to the mailbox and checking her mailbox and then walking back in. And then 5 minutes later, you're sitting on that porch and you see her walking back out and checking her mailbox and then coming back. And you're sitting on the porch looking at her going, what the heck is that kooky lady doing? That's me. That's me. I'm doing that. And 5 minutes goes by and I'm like, did I get a new email? Can I learn something new? What's fun and exciting? That's the monkey part of my brain going, what's the new lesson that I can learn? It's freaking crazy. It's crazy how this addictive thing is. It's nuts. So I have to start reining that in. I'm going to have to do something about that. It just that new phenomenon just hit me this yesterday. That realization hit me yesterday that this is what I was replacing the phone game with. What I replaced social media with is now like this checking my email because I want to see what new exciting email has come my way so that I can learn and grow. Because that's the part that's fun, right? And I was like, yeah. And this is the trap that we fall into day in and day out. And this is why we're so exhausted at night, like trying to be our best version. And how come we keep falling short, or what are the days that we didn't pursue well? So the game plan is to front load your good habits, to turn it to robotic so that you don't have to think about it, to rein in the monkey so that he stops distracting you, and then to allow, and then to create an environment to allow the sage part of your brain to grow and flourish. And I honestly think this is what the bullet journal does for me. I don't know what planner you guys use, but you need to use a physical planner, like a physical paper planner. I don't care what process you use. You need to write, to get those thoughts out of your mind and into a piece of paper, a pen, a notebook, anything. I don't care what process you use to run your life with, but it must be in a physical paper form. It cannot be from this because there's too much distraction that comes with it. This can help you. This can really aid you. This is not a bad thing, you know. This is not the physical part is not the bad thing. Our addiction to it is. Our potential distraction from it is. Our lack of willpower to restrain from what the excitement of this is. That is the bad part. But this item is not. It's the potential of what our correlation to it is what makes it bad. So to use the apps, use the timers, use whatever you need to plan, you know what I mean? It could help as a tool to remind you, because this doesn't ding, as effectively as this dings. So use that in that way, but to empty out your brain and to plan your life like this. I feel like this has helped my sage brain flourish, because by sitting here and writing out my thoughts, writing out the things that I need to do, planning out my days, drawing, like cultivating like the good habits that you want to try. Look at, I am so proud of this. I don't know if you guys can see this one picture that, I'm wrong. This one picture that I just did the other day. I drew that and I'm so proud of it. It's day 25. This is the 25 photo that my model and I have been like drawing once a day, and we were sharing screenshots. And I've been sharing these on my stories on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you can go and check out these. I'm sharing them every day, and giving you a chance to like rate it so that you can let me know. Some of them I'm proud of, some of them I'm not. Some of them are easier than others. Some of them are forced. There was one time where I got a little carried away, and I've been looking at pictures. So I basically, how my process works is I flip through Instagram, or I flip through Instagram or Pinterest, or and something, and I just look for a photo and then I draw it. I try to draw it. Now, my pictures are different from what my model's doing, because she's trying. This is a picture with a lady and a giraffe. I found this on Pinterest, and I was like, I want to attempt that giraffe dress. So I tried that. Um, and then there was one day where I might not be in this journal. I might have been in the last journal that I have right here. Let's see if I can find the crazy. And just so you know, this is what I started. Um, the reason why we started this thing is because the sage part of our brain told us that we wanted to be. So this is my first drawing. Oh wait, there's a camera. So that's where I was. So I'm coming a long way, people, from day 25. You know, I like seeing this. I like reminding myself of it because of where I was. But this is the point of me drawing. I want to be a designer where I can just draw out my ideas. I can just draw it out, like how, those really cool designers, they just sketch an art drawing of their idea, and then they just, whip it up, and they're like, this is, that's the kind of designer I want to be. Like, that's in my head, that's the fantasy that I want my capabilities to be. But clearly it's going to take practice. And how I had to do is, in my head, like I said, okay, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to be. But if I'm not creating an environment to support that, then I will never be that. And so that's when my model and I were like, because she had the same dream. She wanted to draw and write the word, and and do drawings that, and do scripture and do quotes, and, she wanted to do that. So that's the kind of drawings that she shares with me, and I'm sharing with her these kind of drawings, like fashion drawings and everything. And so we're getting better every single day, and we're doing that. And some days are hard. Some days we fall behind, like the one where you saw the three of them. I had to make up for 3 days because of Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and I was sick, and I'm still sick. And so I was like, I'll catch up. And then so then I do 3 drawings, and so she's done the same thing. But I don't think we've ever passed 3 days. I don't think we've ever passed the 3-day threshold, because once we get to about 3 days, and then we have to like really make time and sit down and get caught back up, and then go back to the same day, and then which we've done. And this is like our habits and front loading our good ideas. Is you don't want to repeat your bad habit over and over again. So in your quest to try to develop some good habits, don't go so many days on doing it. Just go right back. And that's why, so for January, I'm really like, since I'm not playing games anymore, and how one of the ways I realized how to entertain myself is to keep a tracker. You already saw that on Instagram, I share all these in stories. My goal to write: we do not rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. This is James Clear from Atomic Habits, which is an awesome book. You should definitely get it. So my SAGE systems is what I call it, because these are the things that I want to set in place to cultivate the SAGE part of my brain, the growth part. So now I'm tracking habits that I want, like good things that I want to be doing on a daily basis. And some of them are just things that I want to see if I'm doing them, like 7 hours of sleep. Am I getting it? And it's funny because I didn't like tracking before. I was never what's the word? Methodical about it, because I always felt like it was imprisoning me. And as a creative person, structures and all that stuff, structures and things, like they get in the way, like they limit us, because when I feel like they're structured, then I feel like I'm in jail again and I can't create. So I feel like I'm building walls around myself. But that is not like the case. I'm realizing that the more structure that I have, the more things that I set in place, which is putting it into the robotic part, then that actually allows, and then caging the monkey part, the distraction part, that actually allows the creative part of my brain like expand. So basically when I shut down the distraction and I open up a blank page to cultivate an idea, like this is actually where it like lets me flourish, and to practice it every day, to do it every day, it becomes habitual to the point where I now like love opening this planner. I love watching how I'm planning my life, and then I love trying to make it unfold, where before it was so hard. It was such an impossible task. So I've been doing bullet journaling since September. I've been um, getting up an hour earlier and up to 5, but I haven't gotten up. I haven't gotten up at 5 this entire holiday because I've just been enjoying my sleep, and that's another thing. I want to cultivate my sleep, and since I got rid of the phone games, I've automatically have gotten 7-8 hours sleep naturally, not without even trying. It just goes to show you how much that phone was distracting me and keeping me up. So now my new habit is to get up and write every day, every morning. And that's the new habit that I'm going to be creating come Monday. I'm going to start Monday, 5 a.m. The alarm goes off. I haven't started the beginning of this year because, like I said, I've been sick. So runny nose, sore throat, and everything. And so come Monday, I'm gonna take the rest of this weekend to rest up and get better, so that come Monday I do pursue the new life. And I have been starting to write. The writing process is happening, and I'm actually loving it. I'm grateful that I've been taking notes throughout those journals of ideas. So now I've just been taking my notes and putting them into the laptop. And how I'm doing it, if you guys are curious, there's a program called Scrivener for writers, and I guess what it does is it's like Word, and then you could move things along and change the orders, and basically it's like for writing books. And since I don't have the money for Scrivener, and I'm not going to spend the money on Scrivener since this is my first book, I'm just writing through with Word. So the word processing program, right? So I'm just writing it in Word, but writing in Word is going to be tough because you want to move things around, you want to move ideas around. So what I thought of was I have Asana, which is a free program. Asana is a project manager. It's a task manager. I've shared videos in there. You guys should check it out if you guys need like a project planning system. And so I can use Asana in a way, and Asana is good to do with phone too, but like I said, I've moved away from my planning projects because now I've moved it to this. But for Asana's purpose, I can type in all the ideas and then rearrange the ideas around so that I can know which topic I want to talk about, and then this way I could write it and move it around, and from there it could help me manage my thoughts better and the flow of the idea of the book and everything. So that's what I've been using. So I've moved all my ideas that I've written on my journal and put them in Asana, so that now I can start arranging them and start typing out and the stories that I wanted to share, the topics that I wanted to talk about, the things that would help the readers, whoever, because I have one goal in mind. I have one goal. And this book that I'm writing is to basically, when the person reads this book, they will be so inspired and so motivated by the stories that I share in the book, that when they close the book up and they're done, that this person gets up and knows that they are fully capable of doing anything they put their mind to, that their dreams can come true. And when they close the book out, they go and pursue it. They go and do it. They go and create it. They go and create the life that they want. They go and create the masterpiece that God created them to make. You know, and that's the purpose of the goal. So everything that I will be pouring out into the book will aid to that result. You know, and so that's why they tell you, you know, you gotta have a why. If you don't have a why, you won't get to You won't get. So look, do you see the natural habit that I just did? I'm sitting here live talking to you about how bad phone addiction is, and then I see a message coming from Sarah from Pamper Treasures, and she was just responding to my message earlier, and she um, just messaged me. So that's why, in response to that, and therefore I grabbed it and I put it over. After I was just telling you, see, that's the monkey part. See why the monkey part like lives with you, and he's just a little menace to society. So how to actually combat that is next time I go live, I don't even put this phone isn't even in front of me. Next time I go live to combat that is I can just leave that phone in another room and go live. And then I do it over time enough, the robot part takes over and says, you don't need a phone when you go live, and therefore you won't get distracted. So that's just that's one little thing. And then you're more present when you are live to your audience. And so the sage part says that's how so you can't make the sage stronger. You can't make the sage more powerful. All you can do is to um, use the robot and use smart ways to utilize the robot and its strength by front loading your good habits to the robot that aids with the sage part of your brain. So here's my dilemma is, so one of the things is I want to go back to working out again. I want to move my body every day for 30 minutes. I want that. I know moving my body is good for me. I know keeping myself limber, and I know all that. The knowledge is all there. The sage part is well aware of it. The sage part wants it. So how do I change it and make it robotic and turn it into a habit? And Atomic Habits says, put on your shoes, get to working out, just do it. But I'm so freaking lazy. We are so lazy by nature. I'm so lazy. It's just like, why? What I should do is just get off this live and just put my shoes on and pop in that video and just work out and sweat. I did it for so long. Without thinking. And not only that, but I craved it. And I moved my schedule around it. I moved my schedule around to working out. And now I'm like, I can't even get one workout in. It's so sad. But I know I'm going to have to. So seriously, guys, the struggle is real every which way. Indy. All right. Well, I hope that when you see this replay, since I ended up this is my first live that I was all by myself. So if I end up rambling on too much today, it's all your fault because you guys didn't come over and join me and talk to me, and you made me talk to myself the whole time. So if it sounds rambling, my apologies. But if you've gotten any good tips or ideas from it, please like the video and share it, and comment. Really, really helps. And you guys, YouTube has been messing around with the algorithm. So if you guys were subscribed to my YouTube channel and found that you were not, please check to make sure that you still are, if you still want to be, because they've been doing some weird stuff. So I don't want to lose anybody that had subscribed and thought that they were still subscribed and found out that all of them are not. So please check it and then hit that bell notification so you know when I'm live every Saturday at 9 a.m. I will be back next week. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Well, I'm back on Monday morning at 6 a.m. with Sarah Price for Monday morning motivation. So that should be fun. All right. God bless, guys. Bye. Indy.